Is trisomy 21 autism? Hello guys, today we are going to be talking about trisomy 21, commonly known as Down syndrome in our world. Now in Cameroon, I've come to realize that many people are always confusing about autism and Down syndrome or trisomy 21, and that is why we want to talk about this pathology today. Now many people have come to my office to come and find out information about the school, and they say that their children are autistic. But when I ask them to bring their children for evaluation or analysis, I come to realize that those children are not actually autistic, it is Down syndrome, because more awareness have not been done about Down syndrome, and that is why I'm here to talk about it today. Now, how do you differentiate between autism and Down syndrome? Children, Down syndrome, first of all, or trisomy 21, is a genetical condition that affects the child in terms of growth. Now, during conception, extra chromosomes are being produced that instead of the normal 46, it is 47, and this affects the child's developmental condition from the physical features and even intellectually. Now, you can see that in the child's physical features like their nose, their eyes, their ears, their fingers, even their necks are short. They are different. When once you see a child with Down syndrome, you know that this child has a disability. That is the difference between autism and Down syndrome. But if you see an autistic child, you will not easily know. Now, how do you know that this child has a Down syndrome? Most of the time when parents realize some different conditions, like maybe difficulties in exhibiting milestones that are expected in moving, in talking, and even standing, or their growth is smaller, or they develop extra growth or extra features in part of their bodies, the parents take the children to the hospital, and when they go to the hospital and the doctor tell them that their child has a disability called trisomy 21 or Down syndrome, and most people in Cameroon even go as far as calling Mongolians. Now, most parents think that their life has come to an end. Having a child with Down syndrome does not mean that your life has come to an end. It might just be a beginning of something beautiful. Now, when you have a child with Down syndrome as a parent, or the doctor has already told you that your child has Down syndrome, does it mean that the child can no longer make it in life? We've had a situation where families have separated, or families have issues because the child was diagnosed with Down syndrome. There are many things that can happen in that child's life. That child's life does not end or is limited to Down syndrome. There are many things that can happen in that child's life. And first, like with any other child or a neurotypical child, if you have a neurotypical child and you give birth, the first thing you see that child is, this my child is going to be a doctor, is going to be a lawyer, is going to be a writer, a journalist, a poet. You can call all the professions out there that you want. And then when the doctor tells you that your child with Down syndrome has a disability, the first thing that comes to your mind is, my child will amount to nothing. No, that is not the case. Rather, once the doctor tells you that your child has Down syndrome, the first thing is to start looking for help. You have to get a speech therapist that can help your child to talk. Is your child reasoning faculty slow? You can get a special educator that can help your child in school. Is your child development slow in terms of walking, in terms of sitting, in terms of associating with other children? You can always get a physiotherapy or an occupational therapist that can help your child pick up with their milestones. Now, are you, as a parent that is looking this video, if you think that the life of your child has come to an end, I'm coming to give you good news that that child that you see can have a better future. Now, who can have Down syndrome? Anybody can be born with Down syndrome. There are sometimes people say that people who are born with Down syndrome was because people who gave birth to them gave birth to the children at old age. Those are some of the factors. Does not mean that it's only when you give birth at old age that you give birth to a child with Down syndrome. Even young people are giving birth to children with Down syndrome. And then now, having a child with Down syndrome is not a genetical something, because sometimes some people will come and say that in my family we don't have any child with Down syndrome. No, you don't have to look at it at that aspect. This only happened during conception. This only happened during pregnancy, where extra chromosomes are being produced. So there are medical conditions. It doesn't have anything to do with family background. And now I'm just coming to tell you today that Down syndrome is not the end of life. That child can do better. Look for organizations where they celebrate International Day of Trisomy 21. Enroll there, enroll your child in school, and before you know it, that child will be doing better in life. If you are just following us today, make sure that you follow this page, like, share, and stay tuned for more videos that will bring more knowledge to you on how to help your child with special needs. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye bye.